Okay, let's talk about something. Intimacy after 50. It's this huge topic, right? But it's so often surrounded by, well, silence. I think it's time we found a new way to talk about it, a new language for it.
I mean, there really is something that nobody talks about. Not honestly anyway, not out in the open. It's one of those subjects that just kind of lives in the quiet corners of our lives, you know?
And because of that silence, millions of us are feeling this quiet fear all by ourselves. We start to think, am I the only one? Is there something wrong with me? It's a really isolating feeling.
But what if? What if we just pause for a second and consider a different possibility? I want to start this whole thing off with a big question. What if everything you've been secretly afraid of just isn't true? What if you're not broken? Okay, so that brings us right to our first section. Because you see, before we can even begin to understand the shift, we've got to tackle the biggest hurdle first. And that is the unspoken silence and the fear that it creates.
So, who's not talking? Well, pretty much everyone. Think about it. Your friends don't bring it up over coffee, your family definitely avoids it, and sometimes even your doctor might just sidestep the whole conversation. All of that quiet creates this huge vacuum, and what do our minds do? They rush in to fill that space, almost always with our worst-case scenarios.
And listen, this silence, it's not harmless. Not at all. It actually kicks off this really painful downward spiral. See, the silence creates fear. That fear creates distance, right? It builds walls. And that distance, well, it leads directly to loneliness.
This quote it gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? So you see, this isn't just some physical thing we're talking about. The silence itself creates this deep, emotional pain. The first step, then, isn't about finding a magic solution. It's just about breaking the silence.
All right, let's move on, because this next part is a really big turning point in how we think about all this. We're going to completely reframe the whole experience. It's not about loss, it's about a shift.
I really want you to let this next idea sink in, because it flies in the face of pretty much everything we've been told. Desire doesn't disappear with age. That capacity for connection, for intimacy, it doesn't have an expiration date. It just doesn't vanish.
So here's the key, the really crucial part. What disappears isn't desire. No, what disappears is the pressure, the need for speed, all those unrealistic expectations we've carried around for decades. That's what actually starts to fade away. And honestly, that can be a huge relief. Just look at the contrast here. Back then, it was all about urgency, speed, it was instinctual. But now, it can be softer, slower, much more intentional. And this isn't a downgrade, not by a long shot. It's an evolution, a deepening of connection. And that evolution brings us right to the heart of what we're talking about today, moving from performance to presence. It's almost like learning a whole new language for your own body. I mean, just think about that word for a second, performance. What does that even mean? It means there's a script, right? There's an audience, an expectation of how things are supposed to look. And for so long, that's how this has been framed. And of course, when our reality doesn't match that script, what happens? We feel like we failed.
But presence? Oh, presence is the complete opposite. It's the antidote. There's no script with presence. It's just being there, truly there, noticing the little things, the small moments, how things actually feel. It's a total shift in focus from the outside in to the inside out.
This is such a game-changing way to think about it, isn't it? Your body after 50 isn't broken. It's not a bug in the system, it's simply speaking a different language. A quieter, more subtle language that's inviting you, just inviting you to listen in a totally new way.
Okay, so if the problem isn't our age, and it isn't our bodies, then what is it? What's the real villain in this story? Well, that's what we're going to get into next. It's the cruelty of comparison, especially comparing who you are now to who you used to be.
And this quote, wow, just let that sit with you. We can be so incredibly hard on ourselves, right? Constantly comparing who we are today with that one single chapter from our past, our 25-year-old self. But come on, that person didn't have the wisdom you have now. They were just one part of a much bigger, much richer story.
So what if we asked a different question? What if the body's changes aren't problems that need to be fixed? I mean, for decades, we've been told to fight them, to solve them, but what if? What if we've been looking at this whole thing completely backwards?
What if these changes are actually the body's own wisdom trying to get our attention?
guiding us away from speed and toward slowness, away from intensity and toward tenderness, away from this constant pressure of doing and into a space of just being. It's not a failure, it's an invitation.
All right, so this all sounds great, but how do we actually do it? Let's get practical. In this last section, we're going to talk about what this new language of presence looks like in real life. And spoiler alert, it's all about small actions that lead to incredibly deep connection. And the good news is this isn't complicated stuff. It's just about bringing a little intention to the simple things. Like when you hold a hand, actually feel it. Don't just do it out of habit. Or say something true, something a little vulnerable. Listen to understand, not just to figure out what you're going to say next. Notice that quick smile from across the room. See, those are the moments. That's the real stuff. That is intimacy.
So let's just land on this one more time, because it really is the key to all of it. The person you were at 25 was a chapter. You are the whole book. And believe me, the story is so much better, so much richer now.
And that's really the heart of it all. Nothing is broken. Intimacy doesn't just break or end. It simply grows up. It evolves into something quieter, something deeper, and way more honest. If we let it.
So I'll leave you with this final question to think about. After all this, what's the one thing you wish someone had told you? What do you wish you knew? Because just asking yourself that question, that's the first step to keeping this conversation going and to finally breaking that silence for good.